Walter?
Yeah.
I'm Cameron.
Walter? Is there your presentation for our hospital? The type of emergency we are, we're a suburban ER, but we are also a type 1 trauma center. So anytime a mass casualty happens, mass shootings, chemical accidents, anything that's big like that, they will send most of those patients to us. But we do partner with other local ERs to where if we do end up getting overflowed, we can send people to those ERs. Like I said, we do handle those worst case scenarios. About an average suburban ER has about 200,000 patients a year. And calculating that out, we need about 550 beds on any given day. And that is factoring in, if you do look at our floor plan, we did put the amount of beds in each area. We do have several in storage. We do have several beds in storage because some of them may not be needed immediately. But in case those situations of mass influx do happen, we do have access to them.
We'll address our wait time. We will
Reduce door to floor time.
Well, we'll just try to make it to where when you walk in the front doors, you just kind of flow through nice and quick, nice and low stress, I guess as it can be, because you're in the hospital. Fun times, right?
Another thing we will address is the congested hallway problem. I don't know how many of you have been to a hospital at all. You probably know those hallways can get pretty congested, especially if you are trying to run equipment through the halls. If you're trying to run beds through the halls, those can get pretty congested. So,
Wider hallways.
not just that, some of our equipment we have re-engineered to make it more space friendly, such as the beds. If they're not being used, the bed itself can be rotated into a vertical position, so that way the bed itself is more space friendly to move through hallways. Along as some machinery we are combining, such as the beds and vital machines, so I don't have to have a separate cart for the blood pressure, the heartbeat, temperature, all that. That is all included in one machine.
Fingerprint patient files. It's where all your files are through your fingerprint. So when you sign in, it's not a, hello, who are you? It's a, press your finger down. Then you have all your medical files right there. They give you a wristband. They can just scan it right then and there when you're in the hospital. You lose your files? You can't. It's online. It's all good. And the doctors carry your iPads and scanners. And they can just run around and if they ever need to see what's up with you, it's right there.
Next innovation, our express unit. Our goal is to try and make sure to where if a patient is stabilized enough to where the ER itself no longer needs to take care of them, we will try and ship them to the hospital. We will try and put them in a wing of the hospital that can rehabilitate them. So as soon as they are stable enough to where they are not critical and they can survive, we will try and get them in the hospital to free up beds for more emergent patients, such as if a patient comes in with a broken leg, we may try and split that right then and there and then get them to the hospital to try and have the x-rays and the bone actually put back together. So that way, if a patient comes in after them with, say, a gunshot wound, we can try and get that person out on the floor as soon as we can. And built-in vital detectors, again. And another thing with the vital detector, I couldn't really find an image of this, and I tried to find a brace that would help demo it. Our vital detectors, to try and make it easier for the doctors to use and less equipment, it all runs off the same sleeve. It is a sleeve that will run from just above your elbow to down to where your fingers connect to your actual palm. So that way we can get your temperature off of your hand, we can get your blood pressure and your pulse. And that'll keep track of it as time goes by, and it feeds directly into sync tablets carried by doctors. So if I'm a doctor taking care of a patient who, say, is unconscious, I sync my tablet to that bed, and therefore all that data is fed right into my tablet or my phone.
MRI and CT scan. They used to take images of soft tissue, muscles, organs. They're portable forms, like in the ambulances, like that one we saw in Memorial. That thing's pretty cool. I get to have one of these today. Pretty great. Of course, all two.
We also have emergency defibrillators located in all of our trauma rooms, in our pediatric wing, our cardiac wing, and inside each triage room. Because you never know, someone goes into a triage room and they just collapse. Those case scenarios, you're immediately going to want to put them in a room to get taken care of. Let's say their heart does stop, we can pull up these emergency defibrillators to attempt to resuscitate them. It is no guarantee, it is never a guarantee you can restart someone's heart. We do have a nurse and physician, if I can talk, assistant heavy staffing. This frees up our medical doctors and our licensed doctors to care for the more critical patients. Say you come in, you have a sniffle, we're gonna put probably our nurses or our physician assistants on you to try and take care of you, so that way our doctors and our MDs can focus on taking care of a patient who's coming in with broken ribs, internal bleeding, stuff like that. And all our wings, as you can see on our floor plans, we did try and kind of spiral or put them off like spokes of a wheel from a main area. Although some areas we did have to move because other areas were deemed to be more important, such as our pediatric and our cardiac wing were deemed more important than a general care wing, so we had to pull those down.
Vacuum tubes. It's where you can just transport things to the hospital nice and quick. You don't have to have people running it through the halls or wait for it on the computer. Just throw it in the tube and just, whoa, there it is. You get your medication from the pharmacy, send it up, here it comes.
You can also send documents to it. And to give you guys kind of a visual of what it is, if you've ever been to a bank, you know those tubes outside the bank that you like put stuff in and it pulls it up? That's kind of what we're thinking. You can put medication through that, patient files through that, or blood transfusions. If say somebody is bleeding out and you need to get them blood, you can put that through it as well.
Haley Simcoe. This is the patient number 16. She's the lady that got in a severe car accident, was stuck in the car for multiple hours. And they worked to stabilize her, and she came in with metal in her chest and left thigh area. When she arrived through the medevac, Flight for Life, she came down. They landed on helipad 4, and they rushed her right straight in to the first trauma room that you get her into. And when they were in the trauma room, they gave her blood, fluids, medication, and worked to stabilize her so they could send her off to the emergency operating room. So once she was in the operating room, they pulled all the metal out of her, made sure she was good to go to like ICU so she could recover. And after that, she's sent to the main hospital so she can recover. Nice and quick.
This is further on what he was saying. Patient number 5, and these patient numbers are mainly for our fellow BI students, so that way you can know which number of patient we're talking about on your packet. Upon arrival, Michael Helms is a police officer who was shot in his left shoulder during a chase. His partner drove him up in their squad car, and he explained the scenario to the nurse. The nurse immediately recognized the situation. This guy has a bullet in him. We immediately pulled him back into a trauma room. In the trauma room, he was given an IV to help stabilize and keep his fluids up, and we also did an x-ray to determine where that bullet was, because there was no sign of an exit wound. So we knew the bullet was still in there. We needed to find where it was so we could get it out. While waiting for results, doctors did administer warfarin to encourage his blood to clot. Considering he was on a blood thinner, this was an immediate need, because he would have continued to bleed out unless we had encouraged that blood to clot. After they received X-ray results showing where that bullet was, they prepped him for surgery, pretty much just kind of got his body to relax, and we shipped him to our emergency room's OR. In the OR, he was put in anesthesia to help further relax his body to prevent him from fighting. Emergency surgeons feared to carefully incisions on where that bullet was. After that, we carefully stuck a pair of needle nose scissor pliers, which are L-shaped in design, specifically designed for removing bullets. And we grabbed that bullet and carefully removed it, trying to not induce any further damage. After that, bullet was removed, he was stabilized, we sewed it up best we could and gave him to the hospital to rehabilitate. And that is the end. Any questions from anybody?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are the vital sleeves a real thing?
No, they are not. That was something we came up with.
Wow. So that'd be a pretty cool thing.
It would require a little bit of fine tuning to try and fully design it, considering the vein that is used. Just fine.
So on the floor plan, there's like no, like in the general care or the pediatric area, is it just one big open room?
Oh,
Like-
no, that one was, we weren't entirely certain how to arrange the rooms to get a usable space along with optimizing how many rooms we could have in there, so we weren't certain, so we kind of left that blank.
But
Along
it
with
is
the
an open
second.
floor plan, because as.
So there's no walls between patients?
Oh, there will be, we
But
just
like-
don't know how to kind of lay out the rooms.
It's like in the middle, it's like an open area, so not like a memorial, you have to run all the way around the circle, you just run right straight through the room. Kinda like the,
What's the size of the
It is roughly 80,000 square foot. Typical suburban's about 75 to 80,000. Shoot,
Two questions.
yes.
First question is, where are the restrooms for the families? Single restrooms.
That's a great question, I did not think of that when I designed
it is
this.
off of the waiting room.
Off in the waiting room?
Or for
Inside, I did
patients,
not
because
think
patients
that.
have to go to restrooms too.
Yes.
I
did not think of that.
Everybody gets a
Get
second
your
question.
hospitals and stuff.
Second question for you, I guess I have three. What is your budgetary restraints?
We're given no budgetary restraints. on
Okay,
this.
perfect.
This is, spend as much money as we need to design this.
Awesome. And then finally, you guys talked about the fingerprint check-in.
Yes.
What if you have someone who has a checkered history and they don't want to provide their fingerprint, or they have a conspiracy theory that the government is out to get them? And they will provide.
It's still the option of filing the paperwork if they do have those thoughts or they just do not care to share certain parts of their past.
It's old fashioned.
They can choose to just fill out the paperwork, which will slow us down a bit because then we gotta read the paperwork and then analyze it. But that is an option if they choose to do it.
I had a question about the fingerprint stuff too, like what do you do about kids? Because my son hasn't been fingerprinted, but I might have to take him to the emergency room.
Again, that is in a situation we would also request of you as the parent, if it's his first time coming to us, that we are allowed to take his fingerprint for future reference. So that way, say he does come back in a couple of months after this scenario, whatever he's in for, we can scan his fingerprint and see if he's even in our database. If he is, that can help us get him back there even faster. Yes?
So in the instance of your patient that came in through the helipad, had to go into the trauma room, and from the trauma room went into an operating room, from operating room into ICU, what's that time frame? Because on your floor plan, it looks like they're going, like that's a long movement, and those are long hallways, so what's that time frame?
From the helipad, depending on how experienced our helipad flyers are, or the helicopter flyers are, from the helipad to the trauma room itself can be less than 5 minutes, because our job is to get him in there as fast as we can. And as soon as he's stabilized, we can take him and get him over to the OR in anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on how congested our hallways are and families and other situations.
With the biotechnology, what if like they don't go to your hospital like regularly? Are you gonna share files?
That's a situation we would partner with our other local hospitals, or try to, and try and have a joint database. So that way, say, you normally go to Memorial, but you go to Penrose for a certain emergency, and we've partnered with Penrose, we can pull up those files immediately and see what they've done. See if they've put you on any medications, see if they've had see what you've had in the past that you've gone in for. Lauren?
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna do one more question, because we need to go to the next one.
So with your like files on the computer and stuff, if you did have like some kind of where the computers didn't work or like a blackout or like no power, like or Wi-Fi went down, like how we have at school all the time, like would you have paper files?
We would have them as a backup, but again, the files might be a small bit out of date because the updating process. It's also why you have what's called a hard server in the back room, or in the background, that has all the data downloaded to it, so you don't need Wi-Fi to pull it off a cloud server.
You just wouldn't have any new data coming in. So
Yeah, we
new
wouldn't be able to
files.
pull any data from, say, Memorial for Penrose, but we'd be able to see what you've done with us, if anything.
Okay.
All right, so since there might be more questions, but we're on limited time, on the back side of your little voting thing, if you have a question that you would like to ask, we can do that next week. We can go back and revisit, and you